How you guys doing? John, Indoor Hydroponics. Good to see you again. Welcome outside to my pepper bed. And this is going to be, sadly to say, my last landscaping with peppers video. It's not over in terms of the life cycle of the pepper here. I'm gonna ride these out as long as I can. But you know, I kind of didn't stick to script as far as how I wanted to shoot a video every month, and I don't know why I did that. I kind of lost interest in it. I don't know why. I thought it was kind of a cute idea, but I missed a month, and then I missed another month, and I was like, I'm kind of over it. So, but I did stick to plan with how I wanted to grow these things. So maybe we'll recap on this a little bit, talk about harvest, fertilization, and what I thought of the 4 different varieties of peppers that I grew here in Michigan. And I think that's a big key too, is that I grew it in Michigan, colder climate, certainly a cold summer. Not real conducive for pepper growth. But I still got some pretty decent production. The plants are real tall, healthy. They're 3.5, 4 feet now. So I'm gonna write them out, see how much more I can get. But I'll give some figures up to date. So let's go on and look at the latest harvest, and let's talk compost tea too. Alright guys, 7.5 pounds of peppers today. Now of course that's weighed whole. That includes the stem, the seeds, and some of the rib meat that would get discarded and put out into the compost pile. But so obviously processed and cut up and put out into the freezer, they're going to weigh a little bit less, but I weighed everything as a whole pepper, okay? And so that put me over 25 pounds for the year. Now that may sound like a lot, right? 25 pounds of peppers. But really, in essence, it's not, considering the fact that I've got over 50 plants out there, and that are alive and somewhat healthy. Okay. The problem is some of the plants look good and just didn't produce anything. All right, and that comes down to one specific variety. Again, I grew 4 varieties. Okay, 2 of them probably produced. 2 of the varieties produced 95% of the peppers that I've been able to harvest. I got a few peppers off the 3rd variety and 0 off the others. So if you live in like Midwestern United States and are curious about what's a decent pepper that's productive, and you actually come across this video, I'm going to explain those 2 varieties, because those are going to be the 2 varieties that I grow next year, and that's it. So a little experiment for me. Now again, I should preface that by saying that this year has been unseasonably cool here in Michigan, so maybe these 2 varieties just worked out better given the weather conditions, okay? And next year might be unbearably hot and they may not produce as well. So I think a lot of it is weather dependent, and again, it's what you put into the soil as well. Again, these were grown organic, completely organic, no chemical salt fertilizers were applied to this. But before we get to fertilization, compost tea, let's talk about the varieties. Okay, so let's start off from best to worst, okay? So my best producing, biggest peppers, by far and away, was the Cuatro de Astillero, okay, Baker Creek heirloom seeds. All of them were purchased at Baker Creek heirloom seeds. They're all heirlooms. And they produce these big blocky peppers, okay, and they're just fantastic. This is probably one of the smallest ones I've picked off of the plants out there. They produced like crazy, and they're fantastic. They do turn a bright yellow if you're fortunate enough to have a long hot summer, okay, which I didn't, so I just picked them green. Now, this one was by far the #1 producer given this year's weather conditions in Michigan. I will be growing these. I've already got seeds started for hydroponics, and I'll be growing these in the basement over the winter, and I will definitely be doing a whole garden of these in the landscape next year. So, #1. #2 was the King of the North, okay? And these are not as big, and they're thinner walled, okay? They're just not as big and blocky. They will turn obviously this red again given appropriate weather conditions, which we did not get this year. But these 2 peppers right here The Quadrato di Asti Giallo and the King of the North were by far the #1 producers. These were 95% of my peppers. Now, with that being said, the other 5%, and I really like this pepper, and I wish it would have produced a little bit better, and the name is a little bit deceiving as well, Emerald Giant. Now, it may be the emerald color, however, Giant, they are not. But they are very, very thick-walled, okay? It's a very good thick-walled pepper, okay? So this was a pretty decent pepper right here, but not a heavy producer. I would say like 1 per plant, alright? Which is not great production at all. The one that did not perform at all was this one, and it doesn't really have a name on it, but it's just called a pepper orange bell. It's just an orange bell. And I did not get anything. Some of the plants died out there. The ones that survived didn't produce a pepper, and I have no earthly idea why. I can only assume that it had something to do with the weather, and maybe this particular variety needs a super hot summer. This one's got me confused. So again, guys, Midwestern Michigan, if you want to give a couple of decent peppers a try King of the North. But I would strongly recommend this one. These are fantastic, and they taste fantastic too. Quadrato di Asti Giallo. Okay, guys, one last point about this pepper grow, this bell pepper thing that I got going on here. Before I shut out the series, this bell pepper series thing, is one of the key factors in growing these things organically was compost tea, okay? No chemical salt fertilizers went on them or into the soil. I amended the soil with good compost and cow manure in the beginning of the year, and then once a week I fed them with a compost tea. Now, I shot a video on compost tea. I edited a video on compost tea. I watched the video on compost tea, and it is absolutely horrible. I will not be posting it. What I've learned about myself is that I am more of a freewheeling kind of put the camera in front of me type of thing and talk, and I am not an expert at anything, and I especially am bad at how-to videos. So I got to give credit where credit is due with compost tea. I'm going to put a link below to a gentleman by the name of Patrick Dolan. 1 Yard Revolution is his YouTube channel. You've probably heard from him. He's got thousands of subscribers. But I gotta tell you, in terms of compost tea and how-to videos, that's probably the best one out there, in my opinion, and I've watched quite a few of them. He tells you how to make it, how to apply it, the benefits of it. It's very formal. It looks like he put a lot of work into it, and it's fantastic. So, again, link below. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. You probably have by now, but check it out again. It's a pretty decent video. And I use the exact same method for fertilizing these babies here, so I think it's a fantastic way to grow organically. So guys, this has been a fun little experiment here. I found 2 very good varieties that work here in Michigan that I'm going to tune up and do better next year. So I expect bigger things next year with the whole landscaping with bell peppers thing, because I'm not letting it go. I think it was a fun little project, and I didn't think it looked too horribly bad out there. But I tell you what, next year I'm not going to top them, and I'm going to see what kind of production I get out of them with the untopped peppers, 2 varieties. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, check out my channel. I will be getting into hydroponics here very quickly because summer is going bye-bye. See you guys later. Bye.